Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I am Beth. I make all kinds of motherhood and lifestyle videos here on YouTube, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 15 toys for toddlers ages 1 to 3. Now hear me out, I know that that's a huge range. There's a lot that is happening developmentally in that timeline, but I would say that a lot of these toys cater very well from a child as early as like 14, 15 months, and they build all the way up to 36 months, because what I want to focus on is toys that are really great for open-ended play, and a lot of those toys really do grow with your toddler over time. When it comes to toys for toddlers, I would say that my philosophy very much strikes a balance kind of between Montessori play, which is very much like teaching concepts and skills and based in reality, as well as Waldorf inspired play, which is more rooted in make-believe, play pretend, and finding new ways to play with toys that you already have that are also made of like natural and sustainable materials. So across the board, I would say for toys in our house, less is more. Toddlers really only play with 12 toys or less at a time. So I try and just have less toys in our house in general, but do also utilize a toy rotation. And you'll notice that a lot of the toys that I share are wooden toys that are very timeless. And I don't really buy toys that light up or do any thinking for your toddler. So all of that being said, let's dive into the 15 top toys. I should also say that this list is based on what our kids have played with the most between ages 1 to 3. And the first thing on my list is toy cars, toy trucks, basically any type of toy vehicle that we can get our hands on, our kids love. I would say we have a balance between toy cars that are wooden and very simplistic, like this one here is from KiwiCo. I have a number of these little wooden ones here as well, but a balance between those as well as the ones that are more realistic, like the Hot Wheels cars. There are so many reasons that our kids love these, but also why I love them as a parent. First of all, for younger kids, they are so great for developing those fine motor skills and actually crawling around and pushing something and having it go with them. That's why I also like cars that don't have batteries and kind of move for my kids. But as your toddler gets older, you'll also notice a lot more imaginative play. When it comes to toy cars, I find that my daughter is now like creating worlds for these cars where we're using mixed materials and building car washes and car garages, and she's kind of creating roads around the house, and the cars are sometimes talking to each other. So these are great for so many different reasons. I also do just love trucks and other types of vehicles. I'm just kind of making cars one bucket here. This is a great one from Melissa and Doug. We love that there are little wooden characters in here, which just kind of adds to the opportunity for pretend play. So that is the first item on my list, is toy cars. Next item on my list is magnet tiles. Magnet tiles I introduced to my first toddler when she was a little bit over 1 year old, and for reference, I have a 2.5-year-old and a 17-month-old right now, and they both love the magnet tiles. Magnet tiles are such a great evolution of like basic blocks, because you're getting a lot of those same skills that are taking place where toddlers are having to use a lot of problem solving and critical thinking. I remember at first trying to help my toddler realize that you needed to have like supporting walls to actually get the structure to stay together instead of just falling down. There was so much opportunity to problem solve and work through frustration and different things like that in play. And now I can leave my toddlers unattended, and I will come back and they will be creating castles and building houses and all these different things on their own. So magnet tiles are a great toy. They're also awesome because a lot of the time they are very colorful, and I just find that our kids are very drawn to that element of them as well. The brand that we have for magnet tiles is Picasso Tiles. I've mentioned it a couple of times on my channel just because it is a more affordable alternative to magnet tiles, and we've had a great experience with our Picasso tiles, so I will put a link for that in the description box as well. Next item on my list is pretend animals, and I'm reaching back to grab these ones too because so many of these toys are in our current rotation, which should just be another indication of how much our kids love them. But we really like pretend play animals. I find that especially as our kids get older, and around 15 months I think is when pretend play can start to kick in a little bit more. Sometimes it's like between 15 to 18 months, but both of our kids are kind of in that phase right now, and they love to create different worlds for the animals, where if we're doing farm animals, we're making a barn. For the dinosaurs, we've used them for different sensory play activities and had them in sand and kind of dug through the sand to find them. I just find that there's so many different use cases for these. Not all pretend animals are made well, so when it comes to where you're sourcing them from, I try and avoid the dollar store as much as possible, just because of, like, I don't know, paint and materials and things like that. If they ever do end up in toddlers' mouths for whatever reason, I just find that I like to invest in the ones that are a little bit more high quality. So Schleich is a brand that makes pretend play animals that are beautiful, very realistic, but also quite pricey. I have found that the brand Terra by Batat is kind of a good in-between. This is an example of a bear that we have from them, and I just find that they're a little bit better quality. They look more realistic, they're a little bit weightier, and they hold up better over time. But that is the second item on my list, is pretend play animals. Next on my list is color sorting toys, and I pulled a couple of examples of this because I feel like there's not one best color sorting or color matching game or toy. As long as you have different colors in your playroom, I feel like you can achieve this really in so many different ways. But this is an example of a toy that we have from the brand Plan Toys. It's like a little beehive matching game where you can set up the bees, and then your toddler has an opportunity to match up the appropriate color bee with the appropriate color beehive. It also did come with these little tongs for fine motor skills to be able to do that. Another color matching activity that we have is one from KiwiCo. This one comes with a little die that you can roll to land on a different color, and then your toddler has the opportunity to either with these little coins find the match, or with the appropriate card to find the match for it as well. I have also used magnet tiles for color matching activities. Color matching teaches sequence and categorization and the ability to kind of spot things that are similar, but it's also great obviously as a building block for teaching color theory and all of these different things. So again, it can look very different. There are so many great color matching toys out there, but I will put a couple of my favorites in the description box for you guys to check out. When it comes to where I source a lot of the different play items and activities for our kids from, you will hear me mention KiwiCo a lot because we really do love them around here. And KiwiCo is the creator of the KiwiCo Panda Crate, which is a baby line that they have for babies and toddlers between the ages of 0 to 36 months. It is a line of bi-monthly activities that your baby and toddler can have delivered to your house, full of different engaging activities that are really designed to help them discover the world around them and build a really strong foundation for lifelong learning. We currently have Panda Crate Plus, which is a bi-monthly crate, and it includes resources for us as parents, 3 to 6 stage specific play items, one grow with me item for our kids as well. For our 2.5-year-old, we just got the Let's Create kit, which is really focused on fine motor skills and dexterity. It's for toddlers ages 31 to 36 months, and it came with a Wonder Play guide, which is just a resource for us as her parents to see what different things she's learning in this stage of development, how we can best support that, as well as DIY ideas and fun things like that. But then in the crate itself, there was a bunch of really great activities and resources for us to help foster and promote creativity for our toddler, which is something that she is very much interested in doing right now. Our 17-month-old has the Let's Move kit for 13 to 18 months, and he is such a huge fan right now of the little peekaboo pull-along bus. It's a great toy for gross motor skills, but also so cute because the little peg people pop up and down as you pull it, so he's had a ton of fun with that. I have loved KiwiCo and the KiwiCo Panda Crate for so many reasons. I am very strategic and intentional about the toys that we bring into our house. I want them to be high quality, I want them to be timeless, I want them to kind of build with my kids as they grow. It is so nice opening these crates and giving them to my kids knowing that they are researched back and developmentally appropriate, but also that these toys are durable, they are BPA free, they're phthalate free, they're lead free, and because they can grow with your baby and your toddler over time, we know that they are activities and toys that our kids are going to use over a number of years, and that the children that are not even born yet are going to benefit from as well. KiwiCo has a special offer for viewers of my channel as well. If you want to save 20% 20% off of your first crate. All you have to do is go to kiwico.com/BethBaby and use the code Beth at checkout to save 20% on your first crate. And I will put the link for that here as well as in the description box, and code Beth at checkout to save. So thank you so much to KiwiCo for working with me on today's video. I know that you guys will love these crates for your babies as well. Next item on my list, the play kitchen, which I am very conveniently positioned in front of. I get questions about this kitchen all the time and where we got it. It is the IKEA play kitchen. I believe it's called the Duktig, but I did do like a little custom DIY makeover on it for my daughter's first birthday, and I will put a link here that kind of shows some of the behind the scenes of that. I always recommend a play kitchen as a first birthday gift, especially because around 12 months, most toddlers are beginning to pull to stand a little bit more, if not already starting to take some steps. And so the play kitchen is a really great way to actually support them in that. But then obviously there is so much room to grow into the play kitchen when it comes to imaginative play as well. I think that's one of the biggest benefits of it, is inviting your toddler into this world where they're really able to model and mimic a lot of what they see you doing in the kitchen in their own little kitchen. Our toddlers will often cook for us, and they will come over and bring us plates of food and saying more and thank you and you're welcome, and just a lot of different opportunities for communication come with a play kitchen as well, which is, I think, kind of like a hidden benefit to it. We've added an apron, we've added a little dustpan and broom, so there are lots of fun ways to build on the play over time and give your toddler an opportunity to model what they see you doing in the kitchen as well. Next toy is baby dolls. These have got to be the best investment that I have made, especially for my daughter, because she will get lost in a world of independent play with her baby dolls every single day. And one thing that I'll say is whether or not you have a girl or a boy, introducing baby dolls is still very important because it teaches that skill of nurturing, which is something that I think all human beings in general should have, but also social skills and learning how to be gentle with the baby, taking care of the baby. So we do have baby dolls from a brand I think called Babby. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. I will link the ones that we love in the description box. And again, it's not necessary, but it is one of those like base toys that I think our kids can be so imaginative with, swaddle them, but also we have a number of different like baby care items, like a high chair, a little bassinet that our kids can put the baby dolls into to kind of expand their play. But we've seen just so much play happen in general with just the dolls themselves, so highly recommend. In that same vein, the next recommendation that I have would either be a stroller or some sort of like push walker slash wagon. And I'm talking specifically the ones that they're not just like dragging behind them, but are physically learning to push. These are so great, especially for kids in that like 1 to 2 year old age that are beginning to get more comfortable with walking and are learning how to balance a little bit more. But I also find that strollers and wagons that they have to push are great for problem solving, because they have to figure out how to turn it and get around angles. And we've seen our kids kind of work through the frustration of that a lot with these toys. I feel like you could honestly simplify this one mostly to just like a walker wagon, because they also could double as a stroller. Our daughter just has such an affinity for the stroller that I feel like I have to do like a 2-in-1 for this point. But the wagons are great because they do help with walking, but you can also use them as like a grocery cart or a stroller for babies and different things like that. So I have just found that our kids have gotten a lot of use out of those toys, and it helps them to be more active and just moving throughout the house as well. Next recommendation is blocks. Now, when it comes to blocks, there are so many different kinds of blocks, so many different variations. I feel like you really can't go wrong with the types of blocks that you get as long as they are wooden and high quality, because blocks in general just give so many good opportunities for creativity and for problem solving and all of these different things. This is just a set that we have on rotation right now from KiwiCo, and our kids particularly love these ones because they love looking through the little like colored lenses in the middle of them. But honestly, we have had a number of different kinds of blocks in our house and block sets, and it's a toy that I have seen our kids start using as early as like 7 or 8 months when they're sitting independently and want to start like building up, but are obviously now using as well later into the toddler years, because there's just so many different ways to play with blocks. So having a good basic block set is something that I think every home, every playroom should have. Next toy, I don't know if you consider a toy, but it is craft supplies. I'm talking things like crayons, construction papers, paint, Play-Doh, scissors, stickers, all of these different things that give kids the opportunity to just be imaginative and kind of work through that process of creating while using their hands. Right now, some sort of creative play through craft supplies is something that our kids do every single day for at least 30 minutes, if not an hour or more. And it's such a great way for our kids to kind of grow in their dexterity with their hands, to practice sitting at a table for longer periods of time, and to receive instruction. And it's just a rhythm in all of our days that we absolutely love. Next on my list for kids ages 1 to 3 are play silks. My favorite place to get play silks from is Sarah's Silks. I find that they're the best quality and kind of like hold up the best over time, but there are obviously different options available on Amazon as well, so I will link some of those down below. Play silks, I find, are one of those things that it's kind of hard to understand why your child would get so much benefit out of them, especially because it's just like a piece of fabric. But honestly, you guys, when it comes to imagination, these things are amazing. I've seen them be used as swaddles for baby dolls. This one has been used as an ocean for fish, a picnic blanket, draped over something to create a tent. It's obviously been a princess dress a number of times. This one is often used as a cape. So as you can see, the opportunities are basically just endless in terms of like what a kid will think to do with these things. And as of around 18 months, I would say they became very much a staple for our kids in their pretend play. I think even more so before like costumes and princess dresses, fireman costumes, whatever, were introduced. A lot of that dress up play actually started first with play silks, so highly recommend. Next up, the toy that I have a love-hate relationship with as a parent, music set. I introduced this little music set, I think around age 1 for our daughter, and now both of our kids love it and have grown into it over time. I just got this one off of Amazon, and it came with like little bells that they can hold. It came with like a little xylophone toy that they can play with. I have just found over time that it has been something that they've come back to over and over and over again and love to make noise with, love to sing songs with. They also love to do it together now and kind of like form their own little band with it. So it definitely is one that adds to the noise levels in our house throughout the day. But honestly, it's a joyful noise because they love to use it. They love to create music with it. And I have had great success with this Amazon set. It's held up really well over time, so I will put a link for that in the description box as well. My next toy is the Pikler Triangle. This is one that I feel like if you were to ask me a year and a half ago if I thought it was worth it, I actually would have said no, but I've changed my tune on it, and there's a number of reasons for that. I think first of all, kids are just different, and sometimes it takes them a little bit longer to grow in their interest for something. Like our daughter was not really interested in the Pikler Triangle when we had it in our house and in her room for like the first year and a half of her life. I would honestly say that it was a lot more between the ages of 2 to 3 that we saw her start to get use out of it. On the other hand, our son, who is still only 1 right now, has been using the Pikler Triangle for months. He is very physical in his play. He loves to climb. He loves to use the slide. He was very quick to pick it up. And so, although it was a toy that I was a lot more likely to rotate in and out for our daughter at first, it's been one that has just stayed out most of the time now that we have 2 kids, because both of them love to use it and in different ways. It just took them a different timeline to get into it. But as of right now, the Pikler is like a hot commodity in our house. There are a number of injuries that happen with it on a weekly basis, but for the most part, it's just been a great source of movement and activity, especially for our cold Canadian winters, and having it inside as a way that our kids can like be physical has just been such a game changer. So I am actually a huge fan of the Pikler Triangle. Next toy is Peg People. This is a set of Peg People that we have, I believe, from Etsy. It was gifted to us by friends. These things are honestly kind of creepy when you first look at them because they're like these little faceless characters, but I honestly think that that is what allows kids to be able to be so imaginative with them. It's such a great resource for open-ended play. These are characters that get used in a number of different worlds and realities and scenarios throughout the day, and we have a lot of different Peg People now. All of them are very like simple and wooden and minimal. So we really do love Peg people too. I have 2 more toy recommendations for you guys, and the next one is also kind of like a bucket of toys, but it is any sensory related toys. So by sensory, I mean things that your kids are doing with their hands. Obviously, water is a free sensory toy that your kids can play with, but I'm specifically thinking of things like Play-Doh and kinetic sand, kind of like the stuff that they can manipulate with their hands and still also create with. We love Play-Doh around here. I will buy a new pack of Play-Doh probably every 4 months or so. I am not a DIY at home natural Play-Doh mom. I just feel like I don't have time for that, so it's not ever something that I've done, but I know is possible as well. And kinetic sand is also one I'm a big fan of. I think that the best one from my experience is like the beach sand specific kinetic sand, when it's not the beach sand and it's like got a scent to it or a different color to it. It has been a lot messier and stickier for some reason in my experience, and the beach sand has been a little bit better to play with and to clean up. So we have really loved kinetic sand, and I will oftentimes put that into sensory bins and kind of hide things in the sand for the kids to look for. We do also have kind of like an ice cream set where they can pretend to scoop it and put it into the different containers and things like that. So I just find that it's nice to have some toys that are not really like in the playroom, but different options for activities for your kids, because sometimes on a rainy day, you just want to set them down at the table with something to do, and sensory play is a really great way to do that. The final recommendation that I have for you guys is any matching games or toys for your 1 to 3-year-old. Again, I feel like this is one of those categories where there are so many different types of toys that you can introduce that are great for this, and I grabbed another couple of examples of ones that we love. This one is from the brand My First Match It. So this one is ice cream colors. Your toddler will have the opportunity to look through and try and find the matching ice cream cone and connect it. And I found that it's been great because it's a really simple way to practice just using a puzzle and connecting the pieces together. I couldn't do that with one hand, and that's obviously not the right match, but you guys get the point. We also do love a lot of the different KiwiCo matching games that we have. One of them is this little fish pond that we got. It comes with different cards that you can lay out in the actual fish pond where you can match up colors with each other, or you can do 2 turtles together or 2 starfish together. And similarly to color sorting activities, I find that as your toddler gets older, matching activities in general are a great way to kind of build on those skills of identifying similarities and building sequences and things like that, because it's a lot more complex than just seeing red twice and connecting red and red together. It can be a lot more complicated and complex for your toddler to put together something like, oh, those are both turtles, or those are both farm animals that go together, and kind of just like building on their ability to match a little bit more deeply. So those are all of the toys that I have for you guys today. My playroom is a disaster right now because I pulled everything out to show you. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It is one that I have gotten lots of questions about because I did one of these, I think for babies ages 0 to 6 months, like way back when our first daughter was born, and I have not done an updated favorites toy video since then, other than like the toys I bought my kids for Christmas and things like that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If there are any toys that I didn't share in this video that you have found your kids that are kind of in those age ranges of 1 to 3 are loving, feel free to drop them in the comment section. I know that you guys always love going through and reading all the different tips and recommendations from mom, so be sure to do that. Also, if you are interested in checking out KiwiCo for your kids, as a reminder, you can save 20% off of your first crate with them if you go to kiwico.com/BethBaby and use that code Beth at checkout to save. So thank you again to KiwiCo. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. And until my next video, I love you guys. I am praying for you guys, and I will see you soon.